Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. When I first looked at the cover, I was drawn in by the bright color choice, gold. What other books do you see that have golden covers? If you look closely, you can see a kind of horse shape in the background. Why is that? How did the title of the book become the Golden Compass? In little print all around the cover, I see words in another language. Why are the words there? What language are they written in? There's a circular object in the middle of the compass, so that could be the compass mentioned in the title. When I first looked at the cover, I felt drawn into the book because the cover was like a big mystery and I was trying to solve it. The whole cover is really interesting to look at. I can spend an hour or two sitting at my desk, staring at the cover, trying to figure out what lies beyond the cover. What's the point of that? Aren't you supposed to try to see what's beyond the cover and not just stare at it? Lyra and her daemon moved through the darkening hall, taking care to keep to one side, either side of the kitchen. Who is Lyra? That was my first thought, and what's a demon was my second thought. Maybe a demon is a pet or a friend. Why do they need to be kept out of sight from the kitchen? When I first pictured the scene, I kind of thought of a girl and something running through a darkening hall like a candle going out. The candle was flickering on and off, and it was jumping around and dancing, like a flame usually does. I had never thought about how you could run on one side of a hall, out of the light, and not be seen. I would have thought that you'd have been seen because you're a person running through a hallway. Of course I would notice an object moving at high speeds. The mood was kind of sneaky and dangerous. For example, the night before a big test, you're studying late at night and you're supposed to be asleep. Lyra could feel Pantaleon bristling with anxiety, although he made no sound. For herself, she was pleasantly excited. The visitor mentioned by the master, Lord Ezra, was her uncle, a man whom she admired and feared greatly. He was said to be involved in high politics, in secret exploration, in distant warfare, and she never knew when he was going to appear. He was fierce. If he caught her in here, she'd be severely punished. But she could put up with that. What she saw next, however, changed things completely. Lyra has an uncle who deals with warfare. With whom? What kind of politics? Where did Lord Ezra travel? Who was Pantaleon? Who was this master? Where was Lyra at this point? What did Lyra see? Why was Lyra so uncommitted about her uncle's welfare? If I were she, I would try to find out if my uncle was in danger. I can sense the mood of the story was growing darker and more mysterious. Philip Pullman means a lot of clues and cliffhangers in one paragraph. When I first started to read the paragraph, I had to stop and think a little. I made a little chart in my mind, and under Lyra, I stored all this information about her uncle. I also added Lord Asriel under a list of growing characters in my head. Somehow, this mystery is all connected together. I don't know how yet, but I'll find out soon. The first chapter of The Golden Compass answered a lot of my questions, but left me with even more questions and with no answers. The master tried to poison Lord Asriel, but why? Lyra stopped Lord Ezra from drinking in time, but after Lord Ezra acted like nothing had happened. Why was that? I found out that a daemon was a kind of pet that everyone had, but who doesn't have one? What happens if your daemon dies? What happens if you die? Would your daemon die too? How is it even possible that you have a shape-altering pet with you all the time? Philip Pullman's writing style is different from what I'm used to. His work always leaves you with questions, and he introduces you to the character's ideas while giving background information. Like when Lyra's thinking, he introduced the idea of where she's at the moment, Jordan College. The writing has subtle hints in between the lines. You have to read the chapter and then think a little before moving on. Otherwise, you miss some of the meanings underneath all the text, like the idea of having a companion, a daemon, and never being able to leave that companion. Sounds like a nightmare, right? My book, The Golden Compass, is really confusing, but if there's one thing you should know or understand about my book, is that the whole mystery revolves around a single object, the Golden Compass, or as it's really called, the alethiometer.